Good afternoon. My name is Peter Krebs, and I'm a community organizer for the Piedmont Environmental Council. Since 1972, PC has promoted compact, livable communities surrounded by farms, forests, and open spaces where natural systems thrive. As part of our smart growth advocacy, we are working with communities to ensure that Charlottesville and the urban Albemarle neighborhoods are well connected, highly livable, with everyday access to nature and fresh air. Today, I will talk about how we are mobilizing a coalition of individuals and organizations with related goals to tackle some of the challenges that none of us can master alone. Let's start with a short 3-minute video about our work. Charlottesville and Albemarle have many great outdoor spaces for walking and biking, but they're not connected, and in fact, too often you have to drive a car to get there. At the Piedmont Environmental Council, we envision a comprehensive network of trails, bike lanes, sidewalks, and shared use paths that are useful connections to help people get to shopping, jobs, education, recreation, and everyday access to nature.
One of the things I really love about this region is how beautiful it is and the various ways that we can experience the outdoors. Many people really benefit from the healing aspects of being outside. And when it comes to even just the daily things as far as like, how do I get to the grocery store? How do I get to work? How do I get to school? So it's important that we have diverse ways of allowing people to connect to the places where they call home.
PC is working with communities here in Charlottesville and Albemarle County to help them use their voice to advocate for a better place to live. People who live in well-connected communities are more prosperous, and their children actually have better prospects later in life. So as we're working to fight climate change, and as we're getting in front of chronic diseases, we're also building a community that's better for the people who live there and help them reach their potential.
Not everyone moves around the same way, and I think it's very important moving forward that we think about that and think about the fact that, especially for folks whose voices may not have been heard previously, what is the best way for you to get access to the things you need and be able to move around and connect?
Safe walking and biking infrastructure is necessary if Charlottesville and Albemarle are going to be an affordable place to live. It's about providing options for people and families and communities about how they would like to get around and how they would like to live their lives. The video does a great job of talking about the why. Next, I will take a few minutes to talk about how we are working together. Back in 2017, PC and our region's Planning District Commission applied for and received a Strengthening Systems grant from the Charlottesville Area Community Foundation. The purpose of the grant was to create a network of physical connections of the kind described in the video, but also to create a unified vision that mobilizes the public will to make it a reality. We needed a plan, and we needed strong community buy-in. That means lots of participation. We reached an important milestone in 2019 with the completion and adoption of the Regional Jefferson Area Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan. I will post a link to that in the chat. The second part of our work focused on ensuring that this planning results in implementation and positive change. That work is at least as important, if not more so. It is ongoing, and it will be the focus of our discussion. We identified early on that the physical barriers that riddle our community are the reflection of a disconnected civil society. There have always been many groups doing good work to get people outdoors, and many of you are here in the room right now. But there's no single entity that can bring about the kind of change that we seek on its own. And for longstanding structural reasons, it has not always been easy to do this work together either. If we are to succeed at the larger difference-making projects, there must be strong and coordinated community mobilization. The Strengthening Systems Grant and now other resources have allowed PC and others to play a gravitational role that I hope is allowing us to coalesce around a shared vision and thereby better connect our community. That gravitational role is essential. The process of working together, which has also been the process of coming together, has taken many forms. Of course, there have been many meetings, but there also have been parties, work sessions, walks, bike rides, community gatherings, presentations, discussions and screenings, a virtual book club, and even a hip hop charrette. When I was hired, I formed an informal advisory group that included representatives from all of the jurisdictions, including the University of Virginia, along with leaders from many groups that build and use trails, such as the Rivanna Trails Foundation and the Charlottesville Area Mountain Bike Club. It also includes environmental organizations and groups advocating for active lifestyles, such as the YMCA, various meetups, seniors groups, and many others. I think we were also wise to align with doctors, both hospitals in our area, and the public health sector. They understand our work from a very different perspective and bring resources, passion, and many community connections, as well as challenging us to focus on those whose need is the greatest. Probably my favorite group is the Move to Health Equity Coalition. They've been a crucial part of our work. Our group has evolved into the Piedmont Mobility Alliance, a coalition of organizations, groups, businesses, agencies, and individuals dedicated to promoting walking, biking, and other forms of active living and access to the outdoors. The Alliance is not planned to be a new legal entity, but rather a regular convening of groups whose work is complementary and whose goals overlap. To date, PC has played the role of facilitator, convener, and provided some backbone and staff support through my work. It is a great space for networking and sharing of updates and resources. Because we are working on goals that are closely related, we've discovered many situations where it makes a lot of sense to pool our resources and merge our efforts. Next, we'll have a recording from my colleague, Rex Linville. He did it about a month ago, describing how we used a collaborative approach to acquire 150 acres of parkland and added several miles of trails right on the edge of Charlottesville.
So Peter asked me to talk really briefly about some work that we've been doing really with a whole bunch of partners out at the end of Reservoir Road, adjacent to Ragged Mountain Reservoir, Ragged Mountain Natural Area. It's really two property acquisitions. One was completed in 2019, which was 143 acres, and the other one is a 5-acre acquisition that literally should be closing weeks ago, and hopefully within the week. So my take home on these two projects is, it takes a village, and these things don't happen by accident. So the it takes a village part is, this was really a collaboration, sort of getting these two projects done with Piedmont Environmental Council, the city of Charlottesville, a bunch of local partners like the Rivanna Trail Foundation, Canbic, Trek Club, all these groups that sort of have put resources and energy and money into helping build trails. private foundations like Bama Works locally, private individuals who donated some money, federal funding through a community forestry program, state funding through the Virginia Outdoors Foundation. So a whole bunch of partners that needed to come together to make these two acquisitions happen. That's the village part. And the it doesn't happen by accident part is, this really started when Chris Ginsick from the city contacted me. I mean, it must have been over 5 years ago that one of these properties was on the market. And he and I started working with the realtor and the landowner and potential conservation buyers, trying to figure out a way to protect it. And eventually we got there. So it was really through sort of long range relationship building between myself and Chris, between ourselves and their realtors, between myself and Chris and the landowners, that ultimately made these things happen. So a lot of hard work on the front end is that, none of these things happen by accident. So there's a lot of things and steps that happen in the background to make these things reality. Thank you.
The transaction that Rex described has since been completed, and we're super excited about that. The Alliance really gained momentum this past February with the Active Mobility Summit, a Zoom-based gathering of representatives from most of the Alliance's 30 member organizations and many others. That's where Rex was speaking. Around 100 people registered, and there were about 50 people on hand for any given part of the event. The meeting was facilitated by Dr. Selena Cozart, who some of you may know. Representatives from the various groups pitched ideas that they were working on that could benefit from collaboration with other organizations, or simply needed more information or to be developed or discussed. Topics ranged from finite and specific, like developing a slate of community activities for Bike Month, which is in May, to durable programs like a mobile bike clinic. Some groups worked on policy, such as Vision Zero, or societal issues like increasing equity within outdoors organizations. Attendees broke into small groups with the charge of clarifying their respective issues and developing short-term action plans with goals for 6 weeks, 6 months, and 1 year. Since the summit's conclusion a couple weeks ago, the groups have been working independently in whatever way and at whatever pace makes sense for their organizations and volunteers' capacities. We will hear back from them at the April 29th Mobility Alliance meeting. That will be a chance for them to share their progress and ask for suggestions or assistance from other organizations in the wider group. You're welcome to join us. We plan another summit next winter. At that time, we will celebrate achievements and set new goals, and what we hope will be an annual iterative process. I've seen great results when we work together in tandem. In fact, many of our most important visions cannot be realized by any of us alone. I will be interested to see how our work evolves and what new possibilities are unleashed when we come together, focus on attainable goals, and apply the strategic doing approach that Selena taught us at the summit. Stay tuned. Thank you.